Now, shortly after taking the oath of office on August 22, the territory's new governor, Augustus Ulysses Jaspert, made it a priority to engage the leadership of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force. How did that interaction go down? Let's turn to a conversation the Commissioner of Police had recently with Kathy Richards on this and other pertinent matters.
Well, very fortunately, the Governor chose to come and visit the force the day after his swearing-in ceremony, which I was delighted about because that impressed upon me how seriously he takes security of the territory. We were able to sort of show him the progress that we're making in terms of trying to professionalise the force further, trying to create better working conditions for my staff, but also upskill, better equipment, better training, so that we can deliver a much better service for the people of this territory. What I impressed upon him, of course, is that we need to continue that drive. And whilst I recognise that there isn't always enough money to go around, it's not all about money. It is also about having commitment, it's about having that partnership, and he's spoken about that. I'm hopeful and I'm convinced already that he is going to get behind us and help us to drive the agenda forward.
Okay, Commissioner, it is very noticeable that there must have been something new and different that the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force have been doing in its crime investigation quest. You've made great strides over the past few months, given the incidents that we've recorded here in the territory. To as much as you can speak to, tell me what has made the difference.
Well, unfortunately, crime is unpredictable and it comes in peaks and troughs, and that's generally the way it is. But as you rightly pointed out, the territory saw a very disturbing uprising in serious violence, and we saw 7 homicides in the space of 6 months. That was totally unacceptable to me. But as I've said before, you can't solve crime overnight. This is not the TV, this is the real world. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes skills. And what we are seeing is the fruits of our labours. We're seeing the results of many hours by our young detectives working hard to deliver justice for the territory.
Okay, and one other thing, Commissioner, we've experienced a recent natural disaster here in the territory. To what extent was the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, what you did on the ground? Tell me everything that you played a part in this initiative.
Well, of course, our primary role is safety of the community, and when we have a natural disaster like that, first and foremost, I have to make sure my own officers are safe, because there's no good sending officers out into a disaster area if it puts them at so much risk that they can't help the community. So we were in constant contact with government, with the Department for Disaster Management. I was on the phone most of the night whilst that storm was going on, because we did manage to get some phone lines still running. And we all agreed plans for first light, so that once the rain had stopped and we could see the extent of the damage, who was going to do what. Our role, of course, primarily to make sure people remain safe, make sure properties remain safe, direction of traffic, doing our best to support the clean-up operation. But of course, the government, and I have to say, for the record, I feel have done a fantastic job, and the response was very rapid by the ministers concerned, and we have seen the results of that already. We are 2 or 3 weeks on, and we're almost back to normality. Of course, there are still people suffering, and we shouldn't actually forget that, but my hope is that the territory will be back on its feet sooner rather than later.
And during that course of time, did you come across any persons or individuals trying to take advantage of that situation where you had to arrest and stop people from doing illegal stuff?
Well, tempers often get frayed in situations when people are under pressure like that, and when people have lost a lot of things. But I have to give praise to our communities. They dealt with this with dignity. And whilst one of our primary roles would have been about making sure shops don't get broken into during times like that, I can say hand on heart there was virtually no crime during that time.
That interview was done at the closing ceremony of the RVIPF's Summer Pan Camp on Thursday, August 31.